I'm here at Cardiff Park, which is one of the locations that we've portrayed in our Get Outside campaign. There's skating trails, walking trails, and a number of activities here that our FCSS department has been promoting. And I'm here with Scott Rada today to talk a little bit about what him and his team are doing to support the community. Scott, I know you and your team played an integral role in meeting the needs of the community in really tangible, practical, meaningful ways. And we're so grateful for all of the work that you've done on that front. Could you tell us a little bit more about some of the practical ways that you met those needs and how you've collaborated with our regional neighbours in that process?
Yeah, absolutely. FCSS department's been really busy this last year. In addition to the Get Out in Sturgeon County, we've been involved in a number of outdoor kinds of activities. We know that COVID has impacted people more than just medically and physically, so we've tried to address their financial, emotional, mental, and spiritual health as well. And through the support of Council, we were able to provide some COVID recovery funding to over 20 nonprofit community organizations. As part of that initiative, we monitored the food banks very closely, and in fact, we're able to leverage one another's supports to make sure that those that were in need of some food security did in fact get some support for that. As well, Council approved some funding to Sturgeon Victim Services, which again is one of those organizations who provide essential service in times like this. We provided a number of early childhood, youth and family programs virtually on virtual platforms, including providing counseling to those most in need, our senior population and those that are struggling with COVID and the emotional burden of such. We really have seen some success this year despite some challenges of being able to respond in a very timely manner, most of which has been virtual, but certainly continue to respond to residents in need. So it's been a very busy year.
Well, just on behalf of Council, a sincere thank you to Scott Rada and to his team at meeting the people where the need was the greatest. And that has been a challenging undertaking this past year, but also I'm filled with hope in knowing that they're looking on the horizon to understand how they can continue to meet people as we come out of this pandemic. Keeping the community safe is not only a council priority, but one of the key purposes of a municipality. One of the ways that we do this is through our Protective Services Department, which includes fire services, policing and enforcement, as well as animal control and disaster services. Hi, I'm here with Pat Mahoney. He's our fire chief and manager of Protective Services. Pat, I'd like you to tell us a little bit about 2021 and what your priorities are, knowing that Council has committed $5.3 million to improve our ability to keep our community safe through fire services, emergency response services, as well if you can touch on some of the work that you do with the Sturgeon Regional Emergency Management Partnership.
Sure, Madam Mayor. So in the 2021 budget, we were funded for 3 full-time firefighters in addition. So that brings up our full-time staff to 12. So what's this done? It's enabled us to have full-time staff both in Bon Accord and Hnatiw, and running shifts from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. 7 days a week, 365 days a year, which has improved our service levels and also our response times. Valuable support and funding also apply to the enforcement services and what they bring to Sturgeon County and their residents. Our requests for services, both on the enforcement and fire, continue to rise, and having solid funding to help us do that work is very important. It's also allowed us to maintain a very extensive capital program, which allows us to have up-to-date apparatus with industry standards and able to serve our community. Also, new initiatives such as the use of drones are taking place within our department.
So Chief Mahoney, obviously knowing that we've come out of a critical incident or an ongoing critical incident that's taken place over the past year, can you speak a little bit to the Sturgeon Regional Emergency Management Plan and how the foundation of that work assisted you in responding to the community's needs throughout the COVID pandemic?
Sure, Madam Mayor. So when COVID-19 started back in March, we were meeting on a regular basis with that partnership, but when COVID-19 started, we began meeting bi-weekly So we had representatives from all the municipalities within the county and the towns speaking regularly on a weekly basis. So we were working together, the same messaging was coming out. Certainly in emergency services, we always did have a certain amount of risk and continue. So we had all that plus COVID. So ensuring our staff had the proper protective equipment in place, proper processes, really looking after our own people internally so we can help the people externally. So having the SREP partnership and knowing what all of our neighboring municipalities were and planning together, getting the same messages out, I think has really been beneficial for the whole area.
Well, as we know, our protective services is an integral part of building a safe and caring community, and we are just so grateful, Chief Mahoney, for you and your team for taking care of people often at a really critical time, and you're doing a great job, and we thank you very much for that. Of course, fire crews can't get very far without roads to drive on. This year, Sturgeon County is spending more than $45 million to build, improve, and maintain local roads and bridges. This includes gravel roads and shoulder stabilizations, as well as intersection improvements and important work on drainage issues to help mitigate future flooding issues throughout the county. I'm here right now with Scott McDougall, who's our Chief Operations Officer for Sturgeon County. Scott, one of the questions that Council gets commonly is, when will my road be done? And obviously there's a bit of a sorting matrix and process that transportation goes through when determining those projects, understanding that there's a number of factors that come into play. So could you speak to what some of those considerations are?
Certainly. So realizing that road priorities are essential to everyone, we take a pretty detailed matrix evaluation, and that includes items like traffic counts, serviceability of the road condition itself, future growth, and there's a whole matrix that's involved in prioritizing those, and ultimately it comes down to funding decisions in the budget.
So Scott, can you tell us a little bit about some of the major projects that your department is undertaking this year?
This is a big year for capital and operational investment in the county. The county is investing more than $45 million to build, improve, and maintain our road, bridge, and drainage infrastructure. There are several that we're undertaking this year, several paving projects that we're doing, including the road behind us, Fire Hall Road, Campsite Road, Township Road 544, along with several others, including RQB Road rehabilitation, several subdivision rehabilitation projects, and Heritage Industrial Park. We're also heavily investing in Meadowview Drive, and we're also looking at a 3-kilometer waterline extension to tie in Villeneuve Airport, and recently completed a 3-kilometer tie-in to CFB Edmonton.
Thank you very much, Scott, to you and your team for all the work that you do in the Transportation and Utility Department. It is one of the most important services that we offer.
Thank you, Mayor. It's really appreciated, and I know the team thanks you as well. Thank you.
No matter what community you live in, roads are probably one of the most talked about issues, as they are used by pretty much everyone, including the agriculture community. Sturgeon County has a long and proud agricultural history, and Council continues to support traditional farming activities, along with exploring opportunities to support innovations in agribusiness and agritourism. Today, I'm with Angela Veenstra. Angela is the manager of our Agriculture Services Department. Angela supports a number of producers through pest control, weed control, field men, and a number of other issues. So I'm just going to let Angela tell you a little bit about what she's been focusing on in 2021.
So up until this point of the year, we've been predominantly preparing for our programs that run through the growing season, which is well underway here in Sturgeon County. We do a lot of pest surveillance, weed surveillance, vegetation management on the operational side of our business. We've also been working very hard to support the Agricultural Service Board, which is a council committee. The goal of that board is to enhance and protect the viability of the ag sector in the county, and they are an advisory board to council.
Angela, why don't you tell us a bit about the 100-Year Farm Family Award?
So the 100-Year Farm Family Award is a award issued annually to families that have farmed in Sturgeon County for 100 years or more. This year, the Agricultural Service Board has approved that the award be provided to one family. And then we also have the Excellence in Agriculture Award, which recognizes either innovation or environmental stewardship. And those two things, many of our agricultural producers demonstrate in their operations.
Several hours have been spent on the Regional Agriculture Master Plan work that's happening at the Edmonton Metro Regional Board, and Angela's department has been instrumental in providing a technical context for those conversations and making sure that our farmers' interests are heard at the regional level. So Angela, would you like to share some comments around some of the work that you've been doing on the RAMP file?
Absolutely. So yeah, we are just one of several departments at the county that have been involved in that process to date. So it is a process led by the Edmonton Metropolitan Region Board. And so we have basically been providing the agricultural technical input into that. So just basically making sure that our local agricultural producers' interests are heard and reflected in that overall plan.
There's a lot of great work being done on the environmental and responsible land stewardship front. Can you tell us a little bit about the ALICE program that you're working on?
The ALICE program, the Alternative Land Use Services Program, it's a Canada-wide program, and basically what it does is it provides compensation and support for agricultural producers for the ecological services that are delivered by their land. So whether that's flood mitigation, pollinator habitat, basically ecological systems that they have on their land. And basically it helps them to either enhance or to protect what they have.
So to be able to find a way to compensate landowners, understanding that even land that isn't in production still needs to be acknowledged for the value that it offers the ecosystem in and around that site and beyond.
Absolutely, yes, and that's exactly what we're hoping to accomplish with ALICE. So,
it is important that we look through our municipal planning with an agricultural lens, which is why we sought input from the community in our recent Regional Agriculture Master Plan engagement to ensure the protection of agriculture land as part of a regional development strategy. We are also ensuring a balanced urban development with agriculture and industry as part of the Sturgeon Valley area planning. Agribusiness is an important part of our economic development strategy, and Council is looking forward to the recommendations from our newly appointed Agribusiness and Agritourism Task Force and gaining a better understanding of how we can best support these industries into the future. Agriculture is not the only business sector receiving attention at Sturgeon County. I'm out at the Villeneuve Airport with Tyler Westover, who is our Manager of Economic Development. And Tyler's going to tell you a little bit about some of the investments that we've made in the Villeneuve area to welcome more investment. Tyler, go ahead.
Thanks very much, Madam Mayor. So a few of the things that have come into this area itself, let alone beyond waterline investment into Villeneuve Airport, broadband investment into the region here, is some work and support that's going in towards planning. So we have a Villeneuve area master planning effort for surrounding lands to ensure that we're able to accept and accommodate new investment and expansions from companies here as well. So this is just one of the projects that we've seen across the entire county that we think is so critical for new investment and growth that we see here.
So Tyler, knowing that Economic Development Department has a $2 million budget for 2021, what are some of the areas that you're focused on spending?
So obviously within the Villeneuve Airport area, we certainly have focus in this place. Certainly want to support the companies that are already here and those wanting to expand into. Beyond that, there's also industrial parks like Pro North, right at the edge of St. Albert and well connected into the region. We have areas like Sturgeon Industrial Park, once again, incredibly well connected into the region as well. Has seen new investment into roadways, major highways 37, 825 and 15, as well as Alberta's industrial heartland, seeing quite a bit of activity and investment in that area. Really across the board, we're looking to support our companies and ensuring that folks can actually come in and be extremely successful in Sturgeon County for that budget.
And I think another opportunity that we have to be able to leverage off of investments in infrastructure that have happened over previous decades is looking at the landscape of what's coming at us and understanding that we are really the gateway to the north. Can you talk a little bit about the opportunities that being the gateway to the north offers Sturgeon County?
Of course. So with assets like our industrial parks that we just mentioned, beyond the work that's happening here at Villeneuve as well, we're well connected into the region with our regional partners, having an excellent Edmonton Metro region to be able to pull expertise from and encourage others to have a footprint here, which creates a natural launch pad for public procurements like NORAD modernization and northern sovereignty initiatives that the Canadian government has right now, which we certainly can play a part in, not only within Sturgeon County itself, but within the region and province broadly.
So obviously an important part of this airport is the runway, but there are new technologies that don't require runways. They do vertical takeoff. They don't even require a pilot on board. Can you talk a little bit about some of the opportunities around the unmanned aircraft and what that looks like in the future of Sturgeon County?
Absolutely. So remotely piloted aircraft systems, UAVs, present some really interesting opportunities for better engaged and connected emergency response, rural crime initiatives, and ensuring that public safety is really kept at the forefront. So oftentimes there's less of a footprint required. There's oftentimes more of a need for certainly data and connectivity, which is why the programs and projects that are out here in the Villeneuve Airport and Sturgeon County broadly are so incredibly important. But it allows you then to ensure that you have excellent resource capabilities when you need them, and to ensure that they're going to the right place at the right time, cost effectively.
And keeping people safe in the process. I know certainly there's opportunities to use unmanned aircraft or drones to monitor wildfires at night while emergency response folks are getting much needed rest. So we're happy to be able to work to flesh out what that looks like around new policies, but definitely there's opportunity there. So I just want to thank you, Tyler, and thanks to your team for all of the incredible work that you do around economic development, because we all know the importance of managing the incumbents and supporting them here, but also the importance of growth, job creation, and a healthy economy, and building those long-standing relationships, and you guys just do an incredible job of that. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We certainly feel it's a team sport. It's something that is important for all of us to engage with, so really appreciate the steadfast support that we've seen from Council, the entire organization, and the community broadly as well. Really couldn't do it without you.
With our proximity to market demand, our strong transportation and logistics network, access to developable lands, and a robust regional talent pool, it only makes sense to invest in Sturgeon County. But there has been one area that has been lagging, and it's the same issue in rural communities across Alberta and Canada, and that's access to reliable, affordable, high-speed internet. To address these issues, Sturgeon County is investing up to $7.3 million in broadband infrastructure for a pilot project that will include residential areas as well as the Villeneuve Airport and the Pro-North Industrial Park. The county will partner with a private internet provider to incentivize timely delivery of services to the pilot project area that will focus on meeting appropriate service standards, ensuring affordability to residents and businesses, as well as ensuring the future scalability. We are still in the early stages of this project, but it is one that is key to ensuring the county's continued success into the future. Sturgeon County's strong roots don't hold us in the past. Rather, they provide strong foundations for a vibrant and exciting future. This includes protecting the future of our environment. Sturgeon County is investing nearly $150,000 on new initiatives to improve environmental planning and to attract environmentally sound business development such as clean hydrogen. The county is well positioned to foster the massive economic and environmental potential within the clean hydrogen industry. A small investment is required to ensure the county is resourced to engage in hydrogen node development and complementary planning activities and initiatives with partnering governments, industry, and facilitators. Sturgeon County is also proud to be a part of the Edmonton Region Hydrogen Hub, an alliance of government, Indigenous, academic, and economic development leaders set to kickstart the hydrogen economy in the Edmonton region. Not only will the hub help put the region on the path to net zero and create a path for the energy industry's future, but the hub will also serve as a blueprint for other regions across Canada to take advantage of the hydrogen opportunity and build a strong Canada-wide hydrogen economy. We know that economic recovery is going to be an important part going forward for Alberta, for Canada, as well as for our own region. This past year has brought many new challenges for Sturgeon County as an organization and for the people and the businesses that call the county home. As Council planned the budget for 2021, we had to ensure that we put the right resources in the right areas in order to balance the needs of today while planning for tomorrow. But whether we are talking about transportation, broadband, agriculture, safety, community services, or even economic development, ultimately what we are talking about is people. Life after COVID is going to be very different than what we knew before and what we're experiencing now. As a municipality, Sturgeon County is adjusting and adapting for a new future and investing in what we believe will support our residents and businesses through the transition. We are doing this by working with our regional neighbors, businesses, community groups, and residents. Together, we are building a strong and vibrant future for Sturgeon County. Thank you.